I'm Jess from the University of Nottingham, and I'm going to talk about the factors that influence the management and welfare of working equids in Colombia. This project has been carried out alongside Wild Horse Welfare, CES University and Foundation Arrieros. The term working equid refers to donkeys, mules and horses that contribute to the daily lives of their owners and wider communities. These animals are used in a huge variety of ways, including tourism, agricultural support, material transport and brick kiln work. Many of these equids provide important financial support to their owners and their families. It is also important to consider the benefits of these equids beyond financial stability. In some regions, equids are used to take children to school, people to hospital, and reduce the day-to-day burden placed on women. The relationship between equid and owner is mutually beneficial, with equids having to trust their owners for survival and owners relying on their equids for financial stability and overall livelihood satisfaction. Whilst it is easy to understand why this bond between equid and owner is so important, there is very little research exploring this relationship and the factors that influence it. This study aimed to explore the relationship between working equids and their owners and the factors that influence working equid management and welfare in 8 communities in Colombia. A total of 24 focus groups were carried out to explore the perceptions of a range of stakeholders, including working equid owners, women, and community leaders. Focus groups were carried out in Spanish by an in-country team and used a loosely structured narrative script. Participants were asked about their community, their reliance and relationship with their equids, and any equid-related problems they face. Audio recordings were subsequently transcribed and translated to English. Thematic analysis was performed using a mixture of inductive and deductive analysis. During visual mapping, the combi model was referenced and eventually formed a framework. Thematic analysis identified 4 themes: capabilities, opportunities, motivation, and horse-human relationship. Together, these themes made up owner behaviour and decision-making and directly contributed to equid welfare. 3 of the 4 themes identified make up the combi model of behaviour. Human behaviour change frameworks can be used to help explore behavioural patterns and are frequently used within human health settings, and we are now increasingly seeing them within animal health and welfare. One example of a behaviour change framework is the combi model, which proposes that in order for a behaviour to occur, an individual must have the appropriate capabilities, opportunities, and motivation. So the first is capabilities, and these are recognised by the physical and psychological abilities of an individual and includes memory, knowledge, strength, skill set, and stamina. The next is opportunities, which includes both physical and social opportunities, such as time, location, resources, finances, and cultural and social norms. So capabilities and opportunities help us understand how feasible it might be for an individual to carry out a specific behaviour. But regardless of how feasible a behaviour may be, an individual must have the motivation for the behaviour to be actually carried out. The combi model describes motivation as reflective and autonomic and includes making plans, understanding consequences, desires, impulses, and inhibitions. These 3 components of the combi model of behaviour made up 3 of the 4 themes in this study. The theme was capabilities, with inappropriate care towards working equids often being linked to a lack of basic knowledge amongst owners. Key areas which lacked a fundamental understanding were nutrition, vaccination, healthcare, and husbandry techniques. Misinformation was seen throughout focus groups and highlighted how past experiences and external perceptions could influence an owner's behaviour and decisions. Practical skills were also discussed, with leaders suggesting that owners did not have the appropriate equid handling skills. This included owners not knowing how to inject equids and owners having more difficulty handling mules in comparison to other types of equids. The theme of opportunities included finances and access to professional services. Many owners had limited access to veterinary treatment and care, with professionals often only treating small animals. Participants also reported that there was an expectation that owners should provide their equids with all the treatment and care needed, instead of seeking professional support. In many communities, medication and shoes were available to buy without prescription from local shops. However, physically accessing these shops was often challenging. Equid care was also influenced by participants' current financial situation, with the high cost of veterinary treatment often being referred to. Limited access to appropriate stabling was a concern for many owners, with participants indicating that stabling should be a priority when providing support for working equids and their owners. In terms of motivation, it was clear that there were differing views on providing good care to equids. Working equids were seen to be fundamental to the livelihoods of many individuals living in Colombia and were used for a variety of income-generating activities. Participants acknowledged the financial stability that equids were able to give to their owners. Participants identified the link between the condition of the equid and its ability to provide income, with some participants stating that owners cared for their equids because of this financial link. Other participants reported that owners did not care about their equids and had no motivation to provide them with appropriate care, stating that some owners did not think that equids were sentient and thought of their equids as vehicles. However, a love of equids was identified during most focus groups. Owners frequently commented on their appreciation for their equids, with some seeing their equids as a member of the family and owners perceiving the care of their equids to be a priority. In addition to the three components of the COM-B model, the horse-human relationship was added as the final theme, with the importance of this relationship seen throughout most focus groups. The welfare of equids was often reflective of the care they received from their owners, with individual differences subsequently having an impact on the treatment equids received. In comparison with the other aspects of the COM-B model, the horse-human relationship adds an extra level of complexity to working equid owner behaviour that would not be present in other aspects of life. This relationship can massively alter the owner's motivation and can impact the welfare of the equid on a daily basis, and as a result, this highlights the importance of a one welfare approach when considering animal welfare and owner livelihoods. Throughout focus groups, owner behaviour and decision-making was highlighted as the biggest contributing factor towards equid welfare. Whilst external factors have some influence, ultimately owners were the ones to determine the welfare status of their animals. Everything from workload to nutrition to medical management was determined by the owners, and all of these impacted the lives of the equid. Along with this, the participants recognised the link between good equid welfare and equid's working ability and an owner's livelihood, with equids in a better condition, being able to carry heavier loads and work for longer hours. They were therefore able to provide their owners with more income, which would improve the livelihoods of the owners and their families. The interest in human behaviour change when considering improvement of animal welfare has been increasing. However, in comparison to its use in human health settings, it is still relatively new. The COM-B model helps map out contributing factors that ultimately determine the welfare of working equids. And by taking the focus of only looking at equid welfare, it is possible to understand the bigger picture of working equid owner communities and provides a better understanding of how these individuals and their owners can be better supported.